Hey, what's going on, my friends? I hope that everybody's doing well. I don't know what this slow five thing is, but hey, Cora, welcome. I appreciate it, my friend. I really do. Linda, what's going on? Nano Aquarium guy, Cave of Wonders, Liquid Zoo, what's going on? Uh, Who else do we have in here? Passing Wind. One slow so. One slow so. One slow 5-0. One slow cop. 3G, what's up? And I think that's who's talking right now. Amisa, what's up? Jeff Kane, what's up? How's it going? Zach, hello. So I know I haven't streamed in a while. I streamed right when I got back from LA. And I got sick immediately after, right when I got back. I wasn't feeling so hot in LA either, but I got a lot of really cool footage. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. I toured George's Fish Room. I went to the Aquarium of the Pacific, which I've uploaded some shorts of, but I want to do a whole video on. I toured a couple other shops, and then just some odds and ends with like fish breeding and little tips and tricks, stuff like that, that I managed to record while I was down there. And the club was really nice that hosted me. And I've been doing talks pro bono, just so you know. If any club wants to have me, all they need to do is get me to their club. I mean, hopefully they can pitch in for a hotel room maybe or something, or even a car, or at least a ride around. But in this case, I actually paid for the ride, or George actually rented a car, which was really nice of him, so that he could drive us around while his family kept their other car. But regardless, I got around that way, and then I took Uber once or twice for like dinner type stuff, and then my uncle gave me a ride somewhere else. But I stayed not with my uncle. It's a long story. I stayed at a Motel 6, which was only in the heart of LA, right outside of Compton by about, I don't know, 10 blocks or so on the map, maybe five to 10 blocks. There's a Motel 6, and I stayed in that Motel 6. And yes, I do have a short that I'll post of that room because it was special. It was 10 feet by 8 feet, and it had a bed when I put my backpack on it that did a taco thing. And real wild in that the bed almost touched the bed spring, and then the bed spring was so shot that it touched the floor. So I usually sleep on the hard ground at my house on like a firm uh wooden hardwood floor, and have maybe like a towel or my hoodie or something rolled up underneath the small of my neck for my because of my back that has the pins and rods in it. But this place, there was not room on the floor really, and there were two roaches I saw with the lights on, so I kind of was like hesitant to sleep on that floor. But then there was also black mold on it, like any surface that was semi-porous. But it was only $72 a night. So for 4 nights, it was pretty cheap compared to every other hotel down there was 150 to 200 for, Holiday Inn or anything like that. Uh, they don't include any of the taxes, which is so frustrating. Like in a state like Washington, California, Massachusetts, New York, pretty much any of the liberal states, they don't tell you the hotel and service guest tax, and it's not like, oh, sorry, we're adding 10%. It's like we're adding 38% to that fee. So any case, yeah. Well, oh, we have a first timer, Bones 1026. Welcome. J-Man, welcome. Bones, I I wish you caught me at a time when I was a little more peppy le pew, when I was a little more skunky, or I mean spunky. Cheryl, welcome. Carol Cox, good to see you. Chew, good to see you. Volcanics, what's up? Alex, what's up? Alex says, and SC Catahulas, what's going on? It says, I got an unfiltered tank, but there is these squiggly worms swimming. What are they? If they're swimming and they're squiggly and they're round without like a head that's triangular, if they're swimming at all, as long as they're not worm looking like an earthworm with like a ring on the body or like a belly that kind of expands and contracts and gets wide, like, and I'm talking like as wide as your pinky at times, then you most likely have detritus worms, and those are almost always fine. Fish love eating them, uh, and I consider them beneficial. They break things down and then they eat the worms. If you have a lot of them, it can be a sign you have too many biologics or too much debris and detritus in your tank. Kind of the same with snails too, though. But yeah, so hey, welcome from Belgium. How's it going? Hashtag harmless worms. Yeah. Um, so yeah. So yeah, I'm probably gonna say so and a lot tonight. I'm not feeling well. If you guys can't gather that from how I look, I mean, my face is all swollen. My hands, if you can't gather, every knuckle and joint is swollen. This is pretty gnarly. Uh, again, my eh, my feet are very swollen. That is a terrible tan line, but look at that. From wearing sandals, that is fluid on my feet. That's edema from the steroids I'm taking for my lupus. And it feels like my skin's gonna split. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm feeling ragged. I'm feeling down, but I'm also feeling like I want a little help from my friends. You know, I get by with little help from my friends. I wish I could get high with a little help from my friends, but you guys are on the internet in the end, you know, all that stuff. Oh, you got your wisdom teeth out. Well, yeah, I need to put my feet above my heart for like 8 hours. But in any case, this is just from standing for like 3 or 4 hours that I'm burned out. Don't show your feet for free on the internet. I don't think anybody be paying to see those feet. Maybe like a medical textbook of like terrible feet or something, right? I have like the worst farmer's tan on earth. I just look dirty. I am so white that I'm like blue and translucent. And so when I get real tan, like where I had my arm out the window driving and doing stuff for the last pretty much all the summer, I just look freaking dirty. My knuckles just tan worse than everything else. Uh, it's hilarious in a bummer way. So yeah, Sour Lucas, hello, welcome. Lindisfarne, what's going on? Greetings from down under. G'day. Yeah, I got fried in LA. Yeah, like an egg, man, like an egg. But you know, the other thing that would be the least of my issues. I have a lot of health issues that are always going. G, welcome. So yeah, I have a lot of health issues. If you guys don't know, I mean that's just part of my life, and that's why one of the many reasons why YouTube and fish videos and all this, like, if I can make this a living, if I can make a living enough to pay my medical bills and my rent slash now it's a mortgage, which is exciting, but you know, if I could pay those things and then have maybe $1,000 for food and electricity and cell phone stuff like that, I would be beyond happy if it could just stay like that. And I've been teetering on the edge of all that for several years now. I'm not going to go through all of the whining because who cares? You guys don't need to hear about all that. But um, I am going to talk about the conundrum that I'm having and the picture on the thumbnail, which is I feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends a bit lately, in that I'm going places, I'm filming, I'm editing, I'm answering people's questions. I'm doing a little bit of consulting, which is great. If people want to do consultations, I say that it starts at $100 an hour just to make sure people are serious. But then I end up cutting people deals or doing like lots and lots of follow up or becoming friends with people. It always kind of happens inevitably after talking for an hour. But uh, the issue that I'm dealing with right now, it wouldn't matter at all. All the things I'm saying wouldn't matter if YouTube would promote the videos I'm making, and it will not. For the last month, the views and everything have just gone way down, and more than that, the exposure has gone way down. So that means that it's not even uh, showing it to people to decide if they want to click on it later or not. And I complained about this before, but it's to the point now where, like, so I made a video the other day, yeah, 2 days ago, where it called a requiem for our coral, and it's about an in-depth look at coral bleaching. And I get that that's saltwater. That's a different niche than we would normally have. That video has 400 views. My live streams tend to get 1,500 to 2,000 views generally. I don't know why. You guys are very supportive, and I appreciate that so very much. But I'm just saying, like, if you're not in a live stream, I can totally understand saying not for me, unless I'm saying that there's a topic and we're covering, something specific. But yeah, so I made this video. It's probably the most edited, and then I also tracked down a lot of B-roll from sources that were nonprofits. Coral wrote the people, made sure I could use it, asked if they needed to be cited or what I needed to do, that seemed fair for them. And then all of that kind of stuff. And the whole video, I'm not in it once. I took the advice of a few folks that said, try doing a video that you just narrate. We know what you look like. And so I took that advice. But the video, like I said, I think we're sitting at a comfy, hey, Steven, what's up, man? How's it going? Who else is in here? Chris Howell, what's up? Amy Lou, what's going on? Good to see you, my dear. But I think that video, and it's fine if people aren't interested in it, that would be one thing, and that would be, I'd be able to tell because it would say, oh, we showed it to 20,000 people, the thumbnail or the title or a notification, and no one wanted to watch it or whatever. The click-through rate was 2%. The click-through rate on that video is 5.9% still, and it was at 11%, and the views are still at 400. That means that YouTube has shadow banned it, essentially, and is not promoting it beyond maybe a very few of you guys who are very active on the channel and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that you enjoyed the coral. I mean, not enjoyed. It was probably a really depressing video, but yeah. And going G, that's what happened when I got my wisdom teeth pulled. I got them pulled like 4 years ago. It was the start of, everybody being all gung-ho about like nobody can have any medications. And I had to have dental surgery where they like pried it out of the bone because they were both impacted on both sides. And it was so rough. It was so rough healing, man. So I feel you. Hang in there. Ice. Go get some ibuprofen or a leave. I find a leave helped the most for me, honestly. But Logan, hello. I'm new here and I need some planted tank tips. Well, I've got a lot of videos on that, but We can talk about some of that probably. Where are my hydros at? Hydras or hydros? Uh, Jeff, you watched it as well too. Yeah. Uh, True. People who, yeah. Uh, our Australian friend in the house says, "Don't be too disheartened, bro. People who actually live next to the reefs aren't even interested in how much of a disaster is unfolding right under their noses." Yeah, I suppose that's true. It doesn't help that like Florida doesn't tend to be very proactive with environmental rights or not even rights, just preservation and stuff. Unless it has to do with hunting. Actually, hunters and fishermen are probably the best thing for preservation in a lot of the United States. Uh, Cheryl, let's see here. I see your message, but hate to tell you that the back is so messed up right now that not even that can help me now. I actually have today. I have a cane, so things are rough right now. I fell, and George, what's going on? It's Aqua Balls. It's George, my friend, my chaperone of Southern California. Uh, I actually, yeah, Amy Lou, definitely. I hear you. Hunting and conservation, hunting, harvesting, and conservation go hand in hand. Source, I hunt. Yeah, 100%. So do I. I haven't hunted in a while, anything large like animal wise. But I'll hunt mushrooms. Gather things like that, and I will. I used to, I've gone deer hunting a few times, and I've gone duck, quail, grouse, rabbit, that kind of stuff hunting quite a few times. And my family's always been, if you kill it, you have to use all of it. So like you're tanning that hide, finding something to do with it. You're even the bones, bleaching them and either feeding them, grinding them up for the garden, or doing an art project. So I used to have a lot of, when I was college age, I had a lot of little like rabbit vertebrae and stuff that I'd make into necklaces, which I know is pretty like goth or macabre, or like little rabbit skulls that I dip into silver and then like make little pennants out of them for my art gallery. Do designs on them with a Dremel afterwards and expose it. Um, so, Sith Lord One, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the super sticker. It's very kind of you. It really is folks like you, folks like Jeff Kane. I mean, I don't want to shout everybody out because so many of you are so incredibly supportive. So many of you in here are members right now. I mean, that says it all. Is the fact that, and if you can't afford it, I don't feel guilty at all. Like I'm not trying to guilt anybody by that. But like in here right now, we've got more members than non-members, and I am so incredibly touched, humbled, and appreciative of that fact. Um, so, oh, holy cow! Hello, wow. Sour Lucas 09, $50. Holy smokes! Thank you. I mean, thank you so much. It is very, very appreciated. Your videos are great. I watch them every now and then. I make my long commute for travel nurse contracts. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to try and find nature trails to steal twigs, leaves, and water when I commute again. I appreciate your insights. Well, thank you. And I hope it's helpful. If you ever have questions, drop a line. I try my best to answer questions and get in there into the comments. Also, we've got a Facebook group, and that kind of I'm in there and I kind of take a look. And if nobody answers a question that you can't just Google pretty easily, then I'll try to get in there and answer it. But usually someone answers it pretty quickly because we have such a great community of other skilled aquascapers and stuff. Uh-oh, aqua balls. George is addicted to Dr. Pepper now. He got me Dr. Pepper when I was in town and I left him with some, I guess. And now he's hooked on it, huh? Yeah, I've done that to a few people. You know, when I'm with them, where I'm like, yeah, let me get a 12 pack of that. And they're like, you're here for 4 days, and I'm like, yeah, that's 3 a day. Uh, and even if I go through like 2 a day, then if it's hot, I'll go through way more. Especially if they go out to, if we go out to a bar or somewhere where everyone's drinking. But yeah, quite a few people have been charmed by the Dr. Pepper left in my midst, in my waist. Um, but yeah, Sour Lucas, thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. Um, hey, all, don't forget to click the like button. Oh, well, that's very kind of you. I don't know if I deserve a like button tonight, honestly. I haven't, you know what, Johnny? And welcome, by the way, Discordia, welcome. So I haven't tried the strawberry and cream one. I'm like, no. I like the cherry, the dark cherry one, and I like the cream soda one. Although I don't like it anymore. I think I've had enough of it, and I'm like, nah, no, it's too it's too synthetic tasting. It doesn't taste like a good, clean, like Madagascar or bourbon vanilla. It tastes like vanilla syrup in a coffee drink or something, and something about that isn't like refreshing. It makes it feel like you're drinking pure sugar, which soda already pretty much is. Um, and yeah, I liked it at first, but not so much anymore. And because of that, I've kind of avoided trying the strawberry one too. And I have been drinking my water, by the way. I have 2 glasses of water sitting over there on the floor and a gallon container that's gone now. That the gallon, I try to drink at least a half gallon of water a day, if not the whole gallon. But half gallon is the minimum. Um, yeah, feral pests. Okay, very true, Linda's Farm. My family does not use and or eat every bit of pests that they are hunting. Same with like when rabbits are digging holes and the cows are breaking their legs and the horses are breaking their legs in the field and stuff like that. Um, uh, Amy Lou says my cheap vanilla feels like it's called out. Yeah, well, I'm a weirdo. I'm like a vanilla connoisseur. It sounds funny, but when I worked at Trader Joe's doing their chalk art and murals, um, a lot of times they do tastings and we get to taste the extract versus the fake extract or the fresh vanilla beans versus that, or like a sun tea made with vanilla beans and like peaches or something versus if you add a little splash of the um what do you call it, um liquid sweetened stuff. I don't know what it's called. There's lots of names, but like Tarani, I guess, is the brand up here that we usually see. Um, and it just doesn't cut it. I mean, after trying the real thing, it is chef's kiss. Peaches and vanilla in a nice black tea, oolong tea or something, uh, or even like an Earl Grey, and then you just like leave it in the sun. Like I'm a little bit untraditional, or the like white tea, the like tea buds that are stronger. That's also really good too. Let's see here. Logan says, I've been bringing your videos. Oh, binging your videos. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate that. Um, and convinced me to really give my rescue betta a much better home. I added lots of plants and added Daphnia, and I'm planning to add some autos and shrimp. Right on. I would be careful with the shrimp unless you're okay with them becoming food. Adult shrimp might be okay. Babies definitely won't be. But that's up to you. A mono shrimp will be okay with bettas usually. But the colorful ones, they end up food if you've got a betta that cares to hunt in any sort of way. Some bettas don't, though. I mean, you could luck out and they get along as best friends, BFFs for life. So, anyways, the thing that I wanted to mention about all this, Night Owl Aquatics, hello, hello, and welcome. Come on in. Good evening. Oh, you ate squirrel and rabbit growing up? Yeah, same with me. And possum and raccoon. Although the family had like this thing against raccoons. They're like, they might have rabies. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The possums and the everything else you guys kill, squirrels, all of that stuff could have rabies. Why do you think raccoons are gonna have rabies more than anything else? But usually they just, slow cook it in a stew and or pie or as a thick gravy or grits kind of thing. When I was in Texas with my dad's side of the family. And yeah. How do you get pea puffers to hunt snails? That is a great question. So if they're not naturally eating like ram's horn snails or bladder snails, what I would do is I would get some tweezers, or you can even get like a spoon. But tweezers are nice because they can see. And I'm talking about aquascaping tweezers. Pliers, I guess, would work too, like some pliers from your shed. Um, just make sure they're clean and don't have anything on them, that could be harmful to fish. But you just grab a snail and you crack it in front of a pea puffer. Just make sure the pea puffer is somewhat around in the line of sight of what you're doing. And then it'll put blood in the water and bits of stuff. The pea puffer will come over and check it out. It should eat the soft part of the snail that's now exposed. If it doesn't, you can then try adding bloodworms while you're doing that or something to try to get it to do that. But for the most part, they will just go wild once they realize that. And most of them will start eating, smaller snails. Even with one or two examples of you showing them that they can be crushed, they'll start doing it. So, yeah. Um, Hope you're not forgetting to add some salty shrimp electrolytes to that water. No, you are totally correct. Just for me to drink, Raphael, and welcome, by the way. I 100% do use electrolyte enhancing stuff, stuff that would get you banned from the Olympics level, like real high end electrolyte powders. No, not really. But that I will add like they've got like a Gatorade one, and there's a couple other brands that have them too. But I'll add that some salt, some magnesium, potassium, manganese, zinc, all that good stuff. So let's see here. Oh, we got a question up here. Jason Baker, welcome. I have a 180-gallon aquarium with several small plecos, one 14-inch one, and a dozen rope fish. Wait, one 14-inch. Those are pretty good sized plecos, and some brilliant rasboras. I'm looking for a centerpiece fish. Severum, chocolate cichlid, anything else? Depending on how the rope fish, okay. So rope fish are fairly resilient. If you put enough plants and hiding spots for them, rocks and caves and little like tunnels for them in the substrate, or maybe even PVC pipe, stuff like that, your options open up a lot more because your plecos are not going to be bothered whatsoever. Your brilliant rasboras, they're a little small for some of the big fish. Like a full-grown Severum might take a pass at one of those. Chocolate cichlids, elosoma, or not elosoma, cyclosomas, Mayans, green terrors, any of those, any cichlid like that may take a pass at a little fish like a brilliant rasbora. unfortunately. But that being said, they're real quick, and if they have some plants, they'll be better at hiding. But if you've got a lot of sand and open space in your tank, I would highly recommend checking out Geophagus. Any of them, but like a red-shouldered Tapaho, something like that. Dan's Fish. Use the code Alex when you check out for a discount. But yeah, Dan's Fish. Aquatic Arts actually has some too, come to think of it. They start out small if you get them young, but they'll end up, yay big. And they're real cool. That might be a little exaggeration. They may not get quite that big, but you can get other ones that get bigger. And you can get, there's so many earth eaters, but they're going to move your sand around and stuff. So that is a bit of a special niche that you'd want to have enough like sand that you got like 2 or 3 inches of sand in the main open part where they're going to be building nests and playing and around and stuff. But there's that. And that's what came to mind, initially. But you could do gouramis, you could do angelfish, you could do discus, you could do severums or cupid cichlids, or you could do chalceus. You could do some of the larger tetras, you could do Congo tetras in a big school. But as a centerpiece, you could do some sort of puffer. That's another option. You got a lot of options, and 180 gallon, almost sky's the limit. But I would be tempted to do a Geophagus colony of sorts. But they can muck up your substrate and kind of mess with your flowers and plants, not your flowers. Yeah. So, let's see here. Ski Boy Films Productions. What's going on? You ordered from Aquatic Arts a second time using my code? Right on. Thank you. Oh, yeah, they do sell scuds. If you guys are looking for scuds, same with assassin snails, or one even. The code Fishery15 will get you 15% off. And Fishery 10 will get you 10% off if you've already used Fishery 15 in the last 90 days. But I do appreciate that. Specifically, that and Dan's Fish, I get a cut of. I do get a cut. And then I get to either order fish from them with that money, or they'll cash me out. And usually we do like gift cards or giveaways around Christmas time, stuff like that with some of that too. So the more you guys spread the word and help out with that. Also, if you ever had a bad experience, tell me. I've heard 1 or 2 things only recently that someone had some issues and they didn't like take it up with Aquatic Arts. And I was like, I called the owner immediately, just ran it up the flagpole to the top. And he's, very much like, we're going to stop that. That's changing right now. So they'll make it right if you reach out to them, but they won't know if you don't tell them. So, stuff happens every once in a while though. What's going on with the podcast? I am whipped, been working 7 days a week, but this Friday I fly out to Ireland and trying to do some fishing and exploring. Oh, yeah. Rob P. Hello. So I am, the podcast episodes are done. They're not in a good fidelity though. There might be a way to remaster them. I'm having some audio tech guru nerd friends try to check that out. But right now, yeah, there are only 6 episodes there. But you can go to my playlists for the channel, and I've put most of the episodes of fishery or any other things that are primarily audio based, where I only refer to an image like maybe 2 or 3 times in a half an hour, where really it's extra info and graphs and charts, but I'll tell the info verbally also, or maybe the chart is not what I'm saying. It's something that is extra. So maybe there's a map of Indonesia when I say it's in Indonesia, and I say, in the south of Indonesia where there's, uh, the less populated islands in the southeast. Um, that's when, for instance, like maybe I'd zoom in and show the population density map or something like that. Those kind of episodes, anyways, with that, they're online. If you go to to the playlist that say podcast 2023 or the podcast friendly ones, members can go to the community tab and get even more episodes. There's 180 episodes of 5 to 10 minute. Some are 15 minutes because I can't stick to anything I say I'm going to. In length. I get excited, guys, and I want to talk about stuff when when I find it interesting. Um, I'm watching you guys talk about the puffers in the chat, and it's hilarious. And yes, leeches come in blackworm cultures almost more often than not. It's something that most fish stores have gotten so many complaints about that they've stopped carrying black worms. Sometimes they also carry flatworms, like nematodes that cause um, like bad stomach infection worms that your fish will starve to death from, or the what do you call them, the uh not columnar, but the camellanus worms, those ones can come in that also, and then man, they can be a real problem. Atkins, what's up, Ian, bro? How's it going, man? um I hope you're doing well. Thomas G, what's up? Indoor Fishing Inside, what's up? Mako, somebody else who helped me while I was down in the LBC. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother. Drew Nelson, just found your channel and I've been binge watching all your videos the past few weeks. Stoked to finally catch you live. Well, thank you, Drew. It means a lot to me. I love it when you guys find it. When folks find the channel and they're like, I wanted a channel that cited academic sources and that was super dry and nerdy and had no production value. Although that's not true anymore. Now we're trying to up the production value. But okay, so let me get back to what I was gonna say. The Okay. Thank you very kindly, J-Man Hatch. I appreciate that, brother. I do. So, and let me answer this before I go off on my little thing. MX Bernard, what's up? Welcome from Chicopee, Massachusetts. What's up? The Fishtoberfest, yeah, I should be there. As far as I know, I've talked to them a little bit, and I've talked to Kenny for sure, and I think I am in the good graces of the club and all. Obviously, haven't done anything wrong. So yeah, I should be there for the talk in October, the Talktober, and I'm gonna do a talk probably that I haven't done before. So that's not a surprise. Every club I go to, I do a different talk. But yeah, so yeah, it's I went from your first post and watched it all. Going, gee, man, that's hardcore. That's over 1,000 videos, and most of my videos are like half an hour long. That's like 500 hours. All your waking hours or whatever. No, Rob P, I can put podcasts on Spotify and stuff like that. There are some of the episodes that are on there. I was stalling to try to get that figured out. And then also, the other thing is the guy who's uploading them for me, who knows how to do the formatting that it needs and all that, and then put the ads in and all the stuff you have to do, like because you have to monetize your podcast. You can't not have ads and stuff. It goes through a third party. Uh, you have to kind of think about all that and then like record ads for a 30-second slot, a 15-second slot, a minute slot, and then it has to be up to date with who's who, what's what, and their products and my channel. And the um, protocol for all that and software, I need to just pick his brain and be like, yeah, he's been nothing but kind. It's Rob from Aquarium Guys podcast. But I need to get him to teach me that, and then I have to like basically listen to each one, and then it'll be on like in the program, listen to it, record it, put it into the program, format it, name it, hashtags it, and put all these like metadata things in it, tags and stuff. And then um yeah, I'll be good to go. Night owl. Wow, you had an issue with Aquatic Arts a few years ago. They sent you the wrong fish. It might have been when they were moving facilities or when they were firing their quality control guy. Um, but I bet you now, if you got anything, they would definitely make it right. Anybody who I've talked to and they've sent me the emails that they've sent, like as long as they've shown me that they've asked or whatever, um, I've been able to get, in some cases they've sent like new orders, which is, new shipping, everything, not just the credit, and made it completely right. Plus then some cases they've even been like, oh, here's another 6 fish because, we feel bad about what happened or whatever. But that's only happened 2 or 3 times when things have gone haywire. But yeah. So yeah, leeches are a real problem on all these farms. I don't know why. They just live in the same exact conditions, I guess. Maybe they also even can survive in the same. Uh, there's also no way to treat pest leeches in a blackworm culture because they are all the same kind of organisms in a larger speaking manner. So like the same things that would kill them will kill the blackworms as well, and that makes it real interesting. uh but yeah, you never even thought about the fact that leeches lay eggs. Nicholas, welcome. But and Mel, welcome. It's good to see you, my friend. I need to get a hold of you soon. But Rye Guy Outdoors, what's up? Good to see you. um Anybody else sneak in here? uh nematodes are people too. Anyways, so the other thing I wanted to mention about all of this is why I'm torn is I have been spending this week. I kept track because I was feeling so crappy and my wife was kind of begging me not to. And I was like, I'll take it easy this week. I still spent 69 hours. That sounds funny because 69. But no, I logged into my phone whenever I started working on writing a script or researching for a video. And I made a total of 3 videos in that time. And then I'd go in and do comments for 4 hours a day like I normally do, and emails in that same time. And then I did my normal aquarium care, which I don't count. So I spent about 70 hours this last week to make a bunch of shorts and then the 3 or 4 main videos that have come out in that time. And yeah, some weeks I spend more than that. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. This is the job that I would love to have. So I love it, especially if I can even just get the ad revenue, let alone, you incredible people who are members, super chatters, all that stuff. that is icing on the cake, and it means so very much to me. I'm a member of like 5 or 6 channels. I try to rotate what I do, and I try to do super chats here and there because I get how much it matters. But what's frustrating is that I am my stuff, especially like the coral one, because I said the word climate, and I can't even say the second part because saying the 2 words together will put a warning in a box, and it's a content warning. Even if I'm completely towing the line of everything you read in the clickable box, if you mention certain things like COVID and any other keywords with it, or you say it more than 3 times or something, then you will get flagged, and they are going to put that context box below. So there's one on the global change in temperatures. Let's just say that. And because of that, that video, I don't think it's a coincidence, is 100% not being shown anymore. Like the last 12 hours, I've gotten no additional views, according to what it's telling me. And it only has like 400 and some views. And it sounds like a lot of you did view it. So the people who are really active in here are hearing about it somewhat, but it's definitely not showing it to people. And it's definitely not showing it to new folks or anything like that. So then it becomes the question of, why did I spend 15 hours on editing? And part of what took so long with the editing is that I don't have a computer. I'm doing it on my phone. And the other part of it is I'm doing it on my phone. Then I'm trying to get the B-roll footage from sources to make sure that it's not copyright, whatever, so they don't get my channel canceled. Literally, they can just shut down your channel without warning if you use, for instance, Disney or NFL or ESP. There's certain people who, I don't know why, but it counts as like, nope, you don't get 3 strikes. That's your only warning. You're out. And that can happen. But more likely than not, what would happen is they would say that we're taking all the money from the video. It's not getting promoted at all, and all your work is pointless on it. So that's what was really frustrating, is when I work on that. I know, Ian, I know. That video really, really hit me in the heart too. And I almost cried working on that video when I read the facts about the reefs, because I heard it's 101 degrees, 102, 103 now one day in the Florida Keys in the water. And I was like, that's no way, and I looked into it and I was like, holy cow, like this is not just a few degrees warmer. This is 10 degrees above where coral can even survive. Like even in the Arab Sea, even in the Red Sea, uh 95 is too hot. And it's really, really frustrating because, say I put 15 hours into that, maybe 10 into the research and into writing a script, which, by the way, I have scripts for any video that is like edited with graphics and imagery the whole way through. Those are all scripted, at least to the extent that I put all the key names, their sources, the numbers, the dates, the facts. I'll put those in an outline, and then I'll read them off a piece of paper or off something while I'm working on it. Oh, thank you very much, man, Ian. I really do appreciate that. If I need some saltwater video, that is very helpful. If I make any saltwater content, to know I can get some content from you, and I'm sure I could get some content from a number of you guys from and to God be the glory. Yeah, I feel like it is extortion and theft. It's ridiculous. They at least should tell you, or there should be a warning on the thing, like, do not use this. You do not have permission to use it. Sometimes it even will say Creative Commons or for educational use. And then they'll consider, because YouTube, even if I don't monetize it, YouTube is not it is a platform with ads on it. They consider that it's not educational anymore. It's for profit. So it really depends on the country, the source, the person who's sharing the stuff. But the long story short is the last few videos I've done, like the longer ones, like the goldfish shop tour. I thought that was a pretty cool, fun tour. Granted, I know most of you aren't super aficionados of goldfish or super interested in that, but it got like 1,500 views. When I'm talking about 5, 6 months ago, I was not getting under 10,000 views a video. And I was shocked because all of a sudden that happened. And what it was I looked at my exposure rate, and YouTube was sharing my thumbnails with lots of people. And it kind of goes through these cycles where it decides, like, let's feature this person for a while to see if they catch on. And if they do, if they are hot during that period, it'll then give them a bigger and a bigger and a bigger audience, and you can explode. Father Fish is going through that right now. I talked to him and he's just like, whoa, I hired some guys to do editing and stuff, and my channel's gone insane. I haven't changed what I'm saying at all in years, but it's going insane. And that's the time where people always capitalize on, like, now he's got stuff he's selling. He's doing a plant mailing order list and all this stuff. And good for him. He can use the money for sure. Uh, for me, though, I promise you, I'm not monetizing this. I'm not monetizing aquarium stuff for you guys. It's always going to be a $1.99 for the membership, which then will get you access to any educational, printouts or papers or whatever. That would be the most I would ask of folks ever. But I'm also not going to make any products. My art, that all goes to nonprofit. So all my Teespring and all that stuff. Um, I talked to Lou about that, Father Fish, and it's he's helping people do things a natural way, and I appreciate that. Or one of the natural ways. There's lots of natural ways, and it's not totally natural any of the ways. So let's say natural. But the packets to start your tank with, you could do that with a number of packets. And it used to tell he used to tell everyone to go out and get the things. Now he sells it. I understand that convenience, and I understand selling the plants, but now it's becoming like, you got to use this mix. This is the formula. This is how you start a father fish tank. And he used to hate the channels that had anything to sell for profit. And so I don't know. I don't hate it by any means, but I definitely want to tell you guys, I want to promise to you guys that I'm never going to be selling things like that on here. This is an educational channel. You guys are my friends, and that's that. So maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe that's what it takes to, to really do it. But all the big channels do pretty much. But something about it rubs me wrong. Feels like I got incentives then to lead you astray, and I don't want that. Rye Guy, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, Going G says I have or wait. I feel like a lot of the things he says starts with you have to do this. Yeah, or you can't, or it's unhealthy, or it's unnatural. Like he was saying that CO2 is unhealthy and unnatural for plants, that they need to get it slowly from the substrate. And that's just not true. Actually, Tom Barr posted about that because, I asked Tom Barr, is that true? If you use CO2, is it any less sustainable long term? Well, other than the fact that it's going to eat more nutrients out of the substrate because it's growing more, as long as you add fertilizer to the water column or root tabs, or it was in the water in your substrate to begin with, there's nothing about CO2 that's artificial. There's lots of spots in nature that have high CO2 content. Yeah, it's just going to grow your plants faster. So yeah, it's kind of odd, some of that stuff, but he and I have always butted heads on certain things like high tech plants. And I don't think you need to do deep substrate to achieve anoxic filtration or anoxic bacteria or anaerobic bacteria, um, there's plenty of literature out there that shows it can occur in 2 inches or less of soil. In fact, Tom Barr actually posted, and I'll share this with you guys, that uh, your substrates that come in pelletized clay form, that clay would normally form a layer in nature. But because humans have turned it into little pellets, you still get oxygen in the water flowing and through osmosis and things, nutrients and things swirling around, and it will soak into the clay somewhat. But at the center of the clay, there will still be bacteria and there will still be some water content that is devoid of oxygen. You can have anaerobic content, and the roots, the larger roots, will grow easily around those things. But feeder roots are much smaller and they have little cilia and little arms that grab into the substrate to eat. And in any brand, ADA started it with Amazonia, and then Fluval, and then who else? Contrasoil and Brightwell. There's plenty of them, but especially the ones with ammonia in them. Those actually, I mean, those were designed by soil scientists and aquascapers for the fact that you can have substrate a couple inches thick and have the anaerobic bacteria, the anaerobic processes, and the storing of ammonia in a safe, as ammonium in safe form, as long as it's semi-acidic. So yeah, just remember nothing sells better than bad news. So for all the stuff failing, wait, I got to read your comment. For all the stuff failing, or and bet there's plenty of success we don't hear about. So so don't lose hope. Yeah, totally. Um, let's see here. Motorola ATV. Hey, hello. Hey, bro, can we create food web having a sump system? Oh, yeah, you can have your microbe. It's actually better, in my opinion, have a microbe rich sump, and have your little organisms, your detritus worms, your even put some green water in it once in a while to feed some of the things down there if you want, if you got a good filter system. But in any case, my point being that anything little, your fish will want to eat, your nano fish will want to eat. So you can put anything in there and it's not going to get eaten by little critters, or shrimp are not going to come and eat it, or snails, or whatever it may be. So if they have a home, like surface area and plants and things to colonize into, or detritus like leaves and things like that, with tannins and all the probiotic stuff, you can get all sorts of better filtration. You can get all sorts of better tannin and pH buffering, as well as acidity. You can get all that stuff. Uh, Aquaballs wants to know, do you have to have a skimmer on a high-tech tank? No, not at all. A lot of people do have at least a protein skimmer because they want to never have that rainbow shimmer or that oily shimmer on top of their water, but you don't need it. A lot of people will install that if they have it. That's usually from overfeeding, or in some cases they dose such high ferts that can actually add to it. Jose Torres, hello, how are you, my friend? Let's see here. Can you use normal sifted soil from the garden for your aquarium? Yeah, totally. It may have more ammonia in it and it may be more cloudy, so it may take longer to settle out. It may clog your filter more. That's why people tend to cap it, like Father Fish's method or Diane Walsted's method caps it. I don't like using the mud or the silt necessarily as much right from the wild to start a tank. I don't mind. I've tried a little bit, adding it later, or like freezing it and then shoving it into the substrate under the sand afterwards as a big old mud ice cube. That works pretty well too. Um, but yeah, yeah, Amy Lou says your 40 has anoxic in the last video where you showed the back and about 2 to 3 inches substrate. So clearly it can go anoxic at that depth. Yeah, yes. Um, and I asked Tom Barr earlier today on Facebook, and he did a great post with citations. Scientific. Jose, thank you so much, my friend. The super chat is so much appreciated. You didn't attach a message with it, but I appreciate it nonetheless, buddy. Thank you. Means a lot. Your membership means a lot. Thank you. So yeah, that's the thing though, is that you can do those things for it. You can add dirt. If it has high ammonia, you either want to let it cycle for a while and let your good bacteria keep up so it can turn that ammonia into nitrates and then into nitrites, or nitrites into nitrates. uh, and then have plants, lots of plants to eat it. What's an example? One with no ammonia. Going G. Let's see. Where's going G? Oh, an example, Fluval stratum or Brightwell, they have no ammonia in those products. They don't include it because they don't want it to kill shrimp when it gets smashed or broken down over time. They're not assuming you're using it for plants specifically, but it does have minerals, so that is somewhat helpful to plants. And it does have surface area, like I said, where over time ammonia and nitrates, nitrites will all work their way into the center of those little pellets, those little dirt pellets. So any pelletized substrate will have that ability to have a core that is anaerobic as long as it's at a certain critical mass or density. And there's actually a rule that named after some guy that I forget off the top of my head that determines that, like how much how porous it needs to be versus like how much osmotic transfer there needs to be for that molecular size and for it to store as a cation or as a ion, whether it's additive or reductive in the redux of the system. Maybe I will copy and paste his post and his images if I can to our YouTube community tab because it was really helpful. He's a PhD in aquatic botany, and he is just told me tonight actually that he's thinking about working on a textbook to be the textbook, because there really isn't one, for aquatic botany, because there's a normal botany textbooks galore, but when it comes to aquatic botany fully submerged, things work differently and it's very different. But he isn't going to say anything that he doesn't have a paper that's peer reviewed and cited, and he's going to send over. He's got very, very high integrity. Um, I say things without that being the case. I try not to put out a video boldly proclaiming anything without having a source to back it up. But, once I've cited it and said it 5 or 6 times, I kind of don't cite it anymore. He's one of the guys who he'll send you that info and a diagram every single time, which is incredible. I mean, that's what I should do to take it seriously as an academic, but I'm not. I'm not a botanist or an ichthyologist. I'm an archaeologist that has never been paid to be an archaeologist. Um, yeah, surface skimmers. I don't have anything against them. Go for it. Uh, Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't is one of my favorite channels. Atkins Ian says yes, yes, I agree, 100%. Him and Alan Rockefeller, who he's been working with, who who's someone I know very well from the forum days. Me, and Alan Wright, as well as two other guys who will remain nameless because they don't want their names public. Actually, we published, and I got spore prints for the Cyanescence alanii or alani, which is a new psilocybin mushroom. And yeah, Alan Rockefeller is probably the biggest expert on psilocybe genus mushrooms in the world, and he's been doing all sorts of videos with Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't. They've been in New Zealand, and they're showing fungi that is from my home state, which is a trip. Like it's survived traveling over the seas and stuff. Wouldn't freezing mud kill everything? It will kill some things, but a lot of things have natural antifreeze, Mel. So a lot of critters can survive a freeze for a night or two. It's the ice crystals also that break things. And believe it or not, nature creates far more jagged ice crystals than when you put it in, say, a freezer and it's cold enough right away that it can state change a little more gently. That's why the ice cubes are a little more well formed sometimes than, say, ice around the edge of a pond or something. Unless it was really cold out, then pond ice looks great. But so yeah, there's less of the ice crystal to shatter cell walls and cell membranes. But yeah, you are going to kill some things. You are going to mush it up. But if you're trying to get ammonia, you're trying to get bacteria, stuff like that, you're not going to kill it with some ice. Most bacteria, most fungi, there's spores, and also same with a lot of the critters that are in your soil. Especially if you're from an area that freezes ever, even like for one night, even like northern Florida, for instance, they will that soil, even freezing it may take out some things, but over time most of those things will come back, either from their cyst form, suspended state, or an egg, or regrowth or whatever. Let's see here. Melissa Skinner, hello from New Zealand, the killifish keeper. Right on. Well, you're gonna like the video of Aquaballs, George's place that I took. So this is what I am also like torn about, guys. And also Rye Guy Outdoors. Thank you so much for being a member. I feel like you were a member, so thanks for coming back to the flock, coming back to the fold. It does make a difference. Your account got reset. Yep. I knew you were on there before, but thank you so much. But yeah, so you know, the the issue I have is I loved George's place. I loved all the creatures there. Phenomenal what he's breeding and what he's doing in a garage space. Including his ball pythons, which he doesn't show that often on his channel, but we looked at all, I don't know, 40 of them, 30, 36 of them, whatever he's got, 50. And I am excited to share that with you guys. But the videos I've been putting out lately have been boom, just doing terrible. And not even, there's 50,000 subscribers to this channel. How does a video get 400 views when I normally get in the thousands? Like right now, something on the YouTube alerts, algorithms, whatever it is, or I'm just making such bad content that no one wants to watch it. But I don't think that's the case. I'm hoping that's not the case. But yeah, it's frustrating because I don't want to release a video if I know no one's going to be alerted to it. So then I'm like, well, what do I do? And part of me was like, I'm just going to take a break and I'm just going to edit a ton of videos so that there's all these videos, like 4 days a week, we got video content with, edited video content. So yeah, but That probably won't happen. I probably won't be doing that. I'll probably keep releasing stuff, but there may be a period here in August where I'm thinking maybe I'll redo older videos, kind of rehash stuff we've already gone over. Do one or two, exciting things and stuff for members. I do new shorts for members. And mostly the shorts are just kind of like eye candy, like, hey, look at this, or interesting trivia of the day kind of stuff. And also the tank reviews is a thing that I think I'll still do, but because I haven't gotten around to that. But I just feel like until the numbers on YouTube at least express like 1/20th of my viewers like being exposed to my videos, it feels like I shouldn't spend that all that energy because it's crushing. 50 ball pythons, says George. Yeah. Oh, you got your first pair of golden wonder killies. Right on. And 6 pandagaras. That's a nice little clan. Elfish. What's up? I like your name. Title Alex search terms. um I like fish. Hey, I like fish. Welcome and welcome to the channel. Welcome to the membership. Go to the community tab. You now have access to 180 episodes that are audio based. I mean, I'll be standing there in the video going, "Hi guys, I'm Alex." Blah, blah, blah. But you can watch that if you want, or you can just listen to it headphones, water changes, whatever. Plus, there's extra documents when I travel. There's like, "Hey guys, I'm here, I'm there," that kind of stuff on there as well. But most of all, it enables me to just do what I do and to check things with experts and things like that. So I really do appreciate it. Broke college student, no money for aqua soils. I get that. I don't have that much money for aqua soils either, to be frank. My medical bills a month uh, are right around $2,000 a month for all my medical bills because I'm on what's called biologic medication for my lupus and arthritis. And I do shorts promoting my content pretty much every 2 videos that I do. Every other video I do now will have a short promoting it. And there's at least one short for every video I do. So I'm doing the things YouTube wants from me that they've flat out asked. um, Thanks, Victoria Black. I appreciate it. Love your deep dives into the hobby. Yeah, that coral one is a deep dive too. It's the cellular level, how the coral reefs are dying, and the fact that we are going to have no more coral reefs by the year 2100 is the current estimate that was made in 2015. They thought the Great Barrier Reef would be 50% gone by the year 2040. Guess what? By last year, the coral reef of the Great Barrier Reef reached 58% gone. So they need to revise those numbers, and their new numbers, loosely, they're looking at the European model says by 2075, so 50 years, no more coral reefs, very possible. I mean, very possibly. There will be coral that exists, on its own, floating around, not floating around, or attached to, docks and things here and there. And the zones in which coral lives will shift and hopefully it will adapt. But the reefs that have existed for 500 million years, those are dying. And already we've lost 60% of them, which, if you look at the archaeology and geology where we can see dead reefs that have died, or the reef has moved into what is now tropical, but maybe when the ocean levels were different, a different area was shallow and or tropical, we can see these massive piles of calcium carbonate and limestone and minerals, and we know where it was. So we can see where different things were, and we can tell by um, the layers of deposition and reference core samples we have to things, and we can tell how long ago these reefs were. We can actually even see the diversity of the different corals and things very well for a few 100,000 years by the amino acids and proteins and also impressions left. Um, so we have a good idea of like what the corals did during the ice age, what they did during meteor impacts, even or huge eruptions, and never has 60% died that quick. Never. There's just no record of it that, or at least that we can find a record of. We've seen like 20% die off, 30% die off kind of things in shifts. They're much slower though. They're more gradual in that you can see the reef moving, and the densest spot was here, and then it was here, and then it was here, and then it was here, and you can excavate it. Anyways, I don't want to go into all that. This video, oddly enough, with only 400 views, has a bunch of people arguing that it's not real, that the oceans have always done this, and it's no big deal, and the corals will be fine. They won't. My mom, I mean, I've talked to lots of people in Australia actually when I was researching this, and they're like, yeah, mate, I went out there. I used to snorkel out there as a kid in the 70s and 80s. It's gone. There's no reef where I grew up, from quite a few people, and it is freaking tragic. And now it's happening to Florida. Sombrero Key, Vaca Key, what was the other one? Henson Key. All of those 100% die-off rates, and those were the hope for the future. Those were genetically engineered and specially selected corals from the Arab Ocean, right up in like Kuwait, Dubai, that live in the hottest waters in the world, the hottest ocean waters in the world, these sand flats that get like 100 degrees sometimes, but more like 95. So they said, all right, we'll aim for 95-degree survival rate as like what they can handle. And sadly, we hit that 95-degree rate already. We hit that 100-degree rate already. And off the coast of freaking Florida. And that's in the ocean. That's not just one day. That's several weeks in some cases. We're over 94 degrees, 95, 96, depending on the key. In really shallow waters, we're talking 110 degrees in some cases. It's absurd. It's crazy. And it only takes 1 year of that occurring and killing a big reef to not help any more reefs. You know, there are spores and polyps, and I talk about that in the video, that can go out and help the reefs. But honestly, it is, once a reef dies like that, we lose species forever every time an entire bleaching event takes over a region. So it's just really crazy. Night owl, I agree. Golden teachers, great stuff. Regina, thank you so much. Love your tours, love your content, and you. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. You are very kind. I have always appreciated you here in the community and all your support. I really, can't say enough about it. But I'm so glad to have you here, and thank you, Regina. Pea puffers, you can keep them alone, but I think that 5 or 6 is a good number for a little group. We do need more coral keepers. I'm tempted to start keeping corals because it's going to be the only place we have for them for a while. And don't get me wrong, I think there, especially over time, I think there will be places with area like what's the word, variables that are amenable to coral surviving there. But I just think it's gonna take out a lot. So hopefully if we have like an arc saving the types, we can reintroduce them. And maybe even if the world got heated up, if it ever stabilized, that's the thing, is like, what if we heat up the world? Well, then what if we reduce the CO2 and the carbon footprint, that or anything else, acidification of oceans, whatever it may be. Even if you don't think it's human related, that's fine. But what if that settles down? That's a problem too. It's going to go in reverse and kill all that coral that moved. So we're going to have to baby coral for the next 200 or 300 years regardless. So yeah. And some days it's dark. How about a video on layering with aqua soil cap? Okay, aqua soil, thin layer of gravel. Okay, and garden soil below that to save money on aqua soil. If you think that would work, yeah, I think it would. I would maybe do sand in an inch above one of them. The thing is with sand or anything where you've got a lot of different densities, the densest things are going to move, and they're going to go. They're going to work their way up in small granular things that are dense, and undense large objects with big surface area are going to work their way up over time. So if the rock isn't really dense rock, it's going to work its way up slightly, and other rock will settle down. If it's a heavier rock, it'll settle down, and then the sand will kind of go up and down depending on if it's coarse or fine, if it's quartz or silica or what it is. So that's why it pays to use a uniform sand that's all silica or all quartz or all, a granite base. Then, or all coral. Stephen P, thank you so much, buddy. PM, it says 8. Oh, never mind. It says 8:30 p.m. on my computer here. It's actually 9:30. I don't know why it says that, but I thought he just wrote PM, like I'm private messaging you. $30. But thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. You and Wet Your Plants, your weekly series. I appreciate you and your channel. I do watch. I just lately I haven't felt like chatting as much some days, but I do hop into people's channels and spy on them and steal all their ideas. That's where I get all my ideas, if you haven't figured it out. Actually, I try to avoid watching um, a lot of channels that are doing stuff similar to me, because I don't want to be accused of that, or I don't want to be influenced too much or swayed by that if we've been talking about something else in the community here. Yeah, Carolyn, there are dozens in my comments in a lot of videos where I mention it, which surprises me. Also, same with evolution. There's a lot of people who don't believe in it. That's your right, but you're wrong. I mean, that's fine, but I don't know what you're here in a science-based channel for, when we're going to go with evidence-based, peer-reviewed general consensus. Yes, science has been wrong many times, but it has a process. It is based on evidence. It is open to being wrong, and it will change its approximation, its summary, its conclusions and hypotheses once evidence changes as well. Um, Jason Baker, holy smokes, $50 super sticker. Man, thank you. Thank you very kindly. It really does mean a lot. All of your assistance, all of you guys watching my videos, sharing my videos, that helps the most. But geez, if you can swing it, that really does help. So thank you, Jason. I do appreciate that. This month's going to be kind of lean. Like, that's not what I was complaining about so much. The thing is, I can live with a lean month money wise. I got a rich wife. No, she's not happy when that happens. But no, I can live with a lean money month. That's fine. The issue is when I can't get what I've created out to you guys. That's what gets me so frustrated. Um, yeah. Yeah, MD, good point, Alec. MD fish tanks is well known for putting aqua soil in a bag and only using part of it for the substrate. I do the same thing. I'll buy Amazonia soil in a big old 50, or what is it? No, it's like a 40-pound bag, I want to say, 38-pound bag, something like that. I don't remember how many pounds it is, but it's a big bag for $60 or something. It's real expensive. It's the fanciest stuff, but it's also great. I've had tanks like the one in the living room that are done with it that run for 5 to 6 years before needing a nutrient or a substrate overhaul. But uh, all that being said, I think it's a yeah, I think that's a great thing to do. I cut my Amazonia with or Amazonia. Now I use Amazonia 2 now, which has a little less ammonia, but I use that usually because I got rid of the old stuff, and I usually use that with fluval stratum, with sand, with gravel. Um, and sometimes with soil or like coconut husk. I've tried a lot of different things. Kitty litter, like laterite, clay pellets, akadama. But the other thing is, you can go on to OfferUp or Facebook or all these marketplaces. Look for tanks that are free, and a lot of times they'll have substrate that's like not even touched, or they'll have bags of substrate, and you can offer them like almost nothing for it, or you can buy the tank and give the tank to a friend or to a teacher at one of the schools in your area, and then just take the stuff that you want to use out of their gear. I've done that many times. That's funny that you mentioned that, Jonah. Akadama bonsai soil, I think it's great. It's pretty inert, but I think it's great. Um, Yes, first class fish. Ken's, that's a good recommendation, and I also agree it's inert, but it's got some nutrients and stuff. So it's got your iron and your magnesium, manganese, not in the amounts that, like, if you're really cranking with CO2, you may want to supplement more. That, and it won't put it into the water column as readily for like a Nubius boost, Java fern, stuff like that, floating plants. It will somewhat, but it's not going to leach as well as like a liquid one. But yeah, it'll do the trick a lot better than, say, gravel or sand alone. Alex, I think your knowledge on plants, you already know about synthesis or photosynthesis, NPK ratios, CO2, pH, and KH, right? Yep. Yeah, no, I know all that. Yeah, I know all that stuff like the back of my hands. I know the Calvin cycle. Right now, we're talking about. Today, I had to clear up some details on redox and CO2 oxygen exchange and the mycorrhizal relationships with bacteria, anaerobic versus aerobic. There were some things in a Father Fish video that he said that I was like, wait, really? And then I had to ask a professor and clarify some things, and it was like, yeah, that's close enough, but when you really get into the nitty gritty, some of these things, it's easier to say it a certain way when really the truth is not always that way. And there's like exceptions for like plants that are nitrogen fixers, or plants that you know are in a certain class, or underwater, for instance, they work differently than land plants. Underwater, there's a whole lot less what do you call it, oxygenation, just to begin with. So that what the plants expect, soil has even more than water in a lot of cases. So like muddy substrates or clay substrates or uh, deep water substrates underwater, substrates underwater that are deep substrates, they get anoxic very quickly. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna check out. I hopefully I will stream again when I'm feeling up to it. Like tonight, I am really burnt out. I really am. I have the classic sores on my face that makes it look like I'm a tweaker. I feel like I just get more crap for coming on these live streams. My teeth, I'm still getting them fixed. But the upstairs teeth are jacked. Bottom teeth look fine. They're fake. So I'm getting the upstairs teeth worked on next. I'm getting my issues taken care of, but it's a long haul. Lightning really screws up your body when it cooks you hotter than the surface of the sun with a weird path of electricity. So I am going to call it an evening. But you guys, I love you. I really mean that. Pass on the good energy, pass on curiosity and taking care of each other. And holy crap, are you kidding me? Jason Baker, sir. Hey man, I absolutely love your channel. I've watched so many. I especially love the pond water tea. That made my whole family gag. Yeah, good thing that was just a little bit of Dr. Pepper in some water with, okay, it did have some aquatic plants in it. Please keep making your super information dense, unbiased. I try to be unbiased. I'm sure I am biased, though. Videos. Thank you so much, man. This is going towards this month. This stream tonight has been like what, $400 or something in super chats. It's incredible. YouTube will take their cut of 40%, but after that, I am putting it towards the fund for a new computer to edit and stuff like that. But I will be going to Florida. I will be going to Sacramento. I will be going to where else? Probably Ohio in the fall or winter. And then I will be going to Portland also, maybe some other places. So you'll have those videos coming up. We'll have other things going on. I got a lot in the works for you guys, and we always have so much to learn. But holy smokes, man, that is so above and beyond. I don't know how to thank you. I really don't. Call me with anything you need. Email me at alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com. If you ever need help with anything, man, consider yourself booked for a free few hours of consultation. Thank you so much, though. I really do appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Virtual hugs for Jason. Yeah, I'll give him a real hug. I'll hunt him down and hug him. Highly recommend a MacBook Pro. Yeah, that's what I want. They're expensive, but I do recommend those also. I've worked on them for years as a graphic designer. So yeah, I'll show you. What the issue is. This is what I'm working with now. It's a one of these.